Hello, hello, everybody. This is Angel Arts, and welcome to the penultimate episode of the Mass Effect Season 2 campaign, Mass Effect Revolution. This is the second to last session, which is very sad because I've had a very wonderful time in the last year with you guys, and it's a little bittersweet that this is
Oh,
coming to a close. But like all good things, everything must come to some end at some point. And for today's warm up question, I would like for each of you to go back to way back to the very first session, and just remember who you were as a player and who your character was as a character. And share with us how your character has grown and changed since the very first session.
Yeah, I guess Vito changed a lot, huh? Because I came into this with this, like, hero. I guess this character with kind of a hero complex. And I guess this stayed in a way, but become more of a hero worship than anything. Like, trying to be a hero rather than thinking he's a hero. Because I guess that one role from session one changed the whole character for me. um, because yeah, the temple collapsing on top of him being his own fault, changed Vito's psyche in like a lot of ways. And then the whole revelations about himself. I remember writing down in the questionnaire that what I wanted to see was Vito's convictions being rattled, and pretty much everything that Vito thought about himself has been rattled.
oh,
um,
yeah.
like his need to be something else than just another Solarian, and then he's like, "Oh well, I'm not just another Solarian," and then he's like, "I have to be like, no, I'm a Solarian. Look," and he tries to like go back into the thing that he didn't want to be, and yeah. As for me, I would like to say I'm far less nervous and far less anxious than I used to be at first. I was so nervous getting into this, like a full campaign, and I mean, even in person, I changed completely because I am someone with a social phobia. Uh, I I guess you could say I used to be like Charlie in a lot of ways. I just don't like being out and about and meeting people, and then I actually like took a plane by myself and went all the way to see you guys, and it was so worth it. I feel like I've been chatting a whole lot more in the everywhere actually, and thank you.
Aw. Hugs, hugs, hugsies.
Hugs all around.
Hugs LR. Group internet hug. Group internet hug.
Yeah, so who wants to go after that? Wow.
I think we can just end it there because I don't think we can match that. That's it. That's it done.
Mine is definitely not going to be as emotionally heartfelt. Well, no, that's wrong. So originally, I intended for Dia to be, you know, to be not the character who butchered their mother in the first session. That kind of happened, and I just like sort of went with it with Dia. And I like how it went. I like how Dia is the direction she went to. Like I love that she was able to patch up like a little bit with her brother, and has to still do some work. Hopefully today to do a little bit more work. Um, but Dia, I feel like is feeling a lot better about her living situation now than she was earlier. partly because she has a group of best buddies in the world who are going with her to go and die, killing this God knows what in another dimension. So Dia is pretty happy about that, but Dia has always been like this cynical person, and I I believe by the end of it, I feel like Dia is going to feel a little bit different about a particular matter, considering of how badly it has currently affected everyone in the galaxy. Um, Maybe before she might have offered more sympathy for it if it wasn't so destructive, but I feel like she, because of the cards that were put in place, she's going to do something drastic. So it was great because it's like one of the campaigns I'm at. I'm the campaigns that I actually get to go finish. Like there's an actual ending, and which I'm happy and excited to be a part of because it's been one of my favorite games I played in. Played in. And I told you guys a little bit about a few campaigns I've been a part of, which they were kind of shitty. So this is great. I love it. This is a good campaign. I like it.
I'm glad the bar was so low, Mikhail.
No, no,
for me.
no. I don't mean it like that.
I know you didn't. I'm glad that this was one of your favorites, and I also want to piggyback off of that and say that we're in the middle of Harry Potter auditions right now, and I was telling Mikhail that he just did an interview with one of the finalists for the Harry Potter campaign, and the way he GM'd, I was so impressed by, and he told me he had not GM'd before, and during that 20-minute of role playing with this candidate, I was like, you need to start a game, because I was so he almost got me crying, and and that is probably one of the I think watching Mikhail like really because he went in very nervous into that interview, and just watching him do what he did just was one of my proudest moments as a GM, I have to say. So
I take inspirations from all the good GMs I've ever had. You being one of the only 3.
Again, I'm glad the bar was so low.
Out of the numerous games I've been in.
When I go back to the first, I'll say the first 2 sessions, because I feel like the first session alone didn't have an awful lot of character development in it, outside of our backgrounds. I'd say the biggest change is definitely the fact that I feel like Nathan has developed more of an anti-hero streak than I felt like he initially would. He's much more accepting of violence and of using violence against any choice, any object in his way. When talking, he feels like talking is an option all of the time, but he feels like the secondary option should almost always be, we could always just kill the thing in our way. And maybe that's a bad thing, maybe that's a good thing to counteract Gimmick's ways of wanting to always be a diplomat. But I've always felt that Nathan would become less of an anti-hero and more of just a PTSD riddled shell of what he used to be. I don't know if it's personally myself being kind of bad at role playing that, or if it's the fact that I went around. I've got certain habits from being in so many games over all the years, and I think that one of my worst ones is the fact that I'm not very good at being as well rounded with my characters as I'd like to be, and that was definitely something that I noticed early on with Nathan, is that he fell into an archetype of mine, and I liked the idea. I liked the fact that I could at least change the way he was as things went on. But I felt like I went the wrong way with him, or I went a way that I did that I think most people weren't expecting, or most people felt was, well, I can't. This is entirely 2 sides of a different coin. But I felt like either people didn't see it coming or saw it coming from a mile away, because that's just how people are sometimes. And if I could go back, I'd probably change Nathan at some point. I don't know when he would. I don't know what would be the catalyst that would change him differently, but I think I would change a little bit. I'm not sure what or when or where, but you know, I'd have to go through the campaign again and think to myself, this would have been the perfect point. As for myself, I like to think that the challenge that Hark gave me at the start of the start of this game to let other people have the spotlight, I like to think that I've done pretty well at that. So that's an improvement on my side, which I am very grateful for that challenge, and I'm glad to have improved. I also think that personally, I have much more not only world experience because I went to America to go give Hark a hug in real life. There's lots of food involved. That's all I'll say.
There was a lot of food involved.
Yeah,
Mhm.
some very good food. Yeah, I like to think that all in all, this is an experience that I'd recommend for a lot of people. That I think that it's a very enjoyable time when you're not having your heart broken by certain things or anything going on. But overall, I like to think that this whole experience is a great thing to actually have, and I think that I've made friends for life, and I'm grateful for that. So.
Aw, hugs, internet hugs, internet hugs, internet
Uh,
hugs,
all the internet
internet
hugs.
hugs.
And last but not least, Mr. Astra and Astra's cat. I forgot the cat's name.
Okay. The cat should have been given a character sheet.
Her name is Nina, but
Nina.
yeah, I call her Misha.
Misha. Okay.
So yeah, I was actually thinking about that question, and I wanted to ask you another question related to this also, but I thought that maybe this was going to come up in the last session. So about gimmick, well, the main idea for gimmick was to start like a child character, like someone who doesn't know a lot about the world, and start growing up from the people that it interacted with. Yeah, I believe that that goal that I had for the character is kind of I kind of met that. There were some moments where Gimmick did a couple of things that seemed like random things, but that's because like sometimes I like to take decisions that may not make sense, and sometimes good things come out of that. For example, I remember that I never planned for like saying those things about ghosts and things like that, and yeah, good things come out of that. Maybe there were a lot of other details that I didn't say or that I said that didn't play into anything, but yeah, maybe like I think it was nice to have those things, like those random things. But yeah, I don't know what the rest think, but I'm happy things about Gimmick, but I'm happy with how he ended up growing up, and yeah, and how it changed across the game. Well, about me, there are a lot of things that I look back and I say, oh, I wish that I could like go back in time to the first station and play the game again from the as a player right now. Yeah, I think that I would enjoy it more, and I would be a better player with the other people that I'm playing with, and maybe help them enjoy it more the game a bit more. Yeah, I think that interacting with you guys maybe helped me a bit to try to like be a better person. I don't know, but yeah. I actually wanted to ask you because in the first session you gave us like goals you wanted us to meet, and that, well, you said a lot of nice things about me, the other players too. But I was curious because I don't remember if you said actually anything that you wanted me to improve on. But my question was if you actually think that I like was a good player for the campaign, or if if there was anything you would wish that I had done differently as a player, or if you are satisfied with your choice of picking me as one of the players.
The answer is yes, very satisfied. No, Astra, you've been Astra's looking for accolades. Yes, no, Astra, you've been great. I think that I told you during your interview that I had some reservations, not like nothing major, but there were some things that I wondered, well, how would this person be in this campaign going into the interview? And then during the interview, you like single-handedly push yourself near the top of the stack. Just because I just felt that while I wasn't sure if you were a good fit for the previous campaigns, when I saw you do what you did in your interview, I'm like, no, he's ready now. Like he's very much ready now. And I loved your character. I love your attitude. I love everything that you've done to help with the campaign in general outside of the game, such as, helping with the animations and the introduction, obviously. But no, I think that you've been a huge contributor to the campaign. If I were to give you some constructive feedback, I know that especially earlier on, I was hoping you would interact more with characters, either PCs or NPCs. Gimmick was, and it's understandable that as a in-character, Gimmick would probably be more observing than talking, but that probably would have been a little bit better if Gimmick injected himself more into the conversations. But I saw that improve over time, like especially near the end. I think Gimmick has been interacting more, and part of that is probably because he's gotten more comfortable with the crew. So that's the only major thing that I can think of off the top of my head.
Yeah, I actually was kind of scared at the start of the session of the campaign, because I was scared of pushing myself in front of everyone else, like trying being too much of talking a lot and saying a lot of things. So I was trying to stay a bit on the back, and that's partly because the reason why I didn't interact that much. But then I thought that maybe instead of just standing in the back and seeing the others, I could instead of just being me in front, could be we together as a group, being all interacting together and having fun. So yeah, I'm happy with how things went. Also, I think that I also said at the start of the campaign that I had a curse that I couldn't never finish a whole season or a story of a campaign. We're about to break that curse. Yeah. I hope that I didn't jinx it.
You're not the you're not the only one. Even back in the very first campaign, the Dragon Age Season 1, Ray said that he had the same curse too. Like he could just never, for whatever reason, finish a campaign, and that was, I think, the very first campaign that he finished. So I'm happy that, hopefully, knock on wood, you can finish this one. So,
yay!
Okay. Cool. I think that's everyone.
Oh
my god, Mikey!
Did you say about yourself?
What's going on, Mikey?
The shirtless session!
It's finally the shirtless session.
Oh!
I never thought that was going to ever happen.
It is also really cold in my house, so...
Well, I appreciate that.
I might put my shirt back on in 20 minutes because it's cold.
It's the fan service session.
It is the fan service.
Actually, we get to see your tattoos now. Is that...
Oh!
Well, all the tattoos that you're willing to show.
No, these are all my. This is all my tattoos at the moment.
What are they? So there's a bird.
There's the tribal. That's my
tribal.
first one. Yeah, that's my first one.
Okay.
There's the N7 one too.
Does that mean something? Does
yeah.
that mean the tribal one?
it all started at the point on my shoulder here, and I sort of spiraled it out like life, because life starts at the same point for everybody, but it all spirals out and then changes, because that's why there's all these lines connecting, and some of them go off to nowhere, and some of them follow you for a long time and then split off eventually. It's all about how life happens, essentially, and then it all ends here at the bottom of near my elbow, actually, down here at the bottom.
Interesting.
Yeah, so it all ends down here. It all ends at one point, but it all starts at the same.
And then there's a bird on your what kind? What does it say? I can't read it.
Oh, it's just a pair of wings with a heart in the middle that says "Unbreakable" on it. It's a depression tattoo that I got when I was 18.
Oh,
yeah.
Internet hugs. Very, very.
And then there's
really wants internet
the
hugs.
big Mass Effect one on the bicep.
The Endzone one.
It's got Garrus's face paint, Vetra's face paint, and then the pattern on the inside is Tally's fabric.
Oh, that's cool. That is really cool.
All right. That was wonderful fan service. After all of the stuff that went on with Nathan, did we heal him, or is he?
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. Use a couple of potions.
The meeting is going to continue on a little bit further because the scientists on the Angaran ship have gotten more information, and based on all of the research that their technology have done, this is the proposed plan. This is how the final confrontation I'm proposing is going to happen. So you can see on the left-hand side, there is this big mass of red, which is where the source of the dark energy is. The red lyrium dark energy fused mass that essentially was Lun and now is a converged version of Lun and big baddie looking force thing. So the idea is, on the other side is another sun close to the homeworld of the Vorcha, but uninhabited. The solar system is uninhabited. And so they figured this would probably be like the best candidate. If they're going to get rid of this dark lyrium thing once and for all, they need to somehow transport the mass over to that sun and basically blow up that sun, supernova, with light energy to completely obliterate this dark energy once and for all, the source at least. So the idea is, how are we going to get it over there? The first thing that needs to happen is you guys need to be able to get close enough to the core of this mass, because it seems to have attached itself to this asteroid, this large asteroid that's the big red thing in the center there, that seems to have a lot of weird looking dark red crystals growing out of it. And the problem is, as you guys have probably informed the Angara, some of Lun is probably there, which means Lun's mind reading abilities would make it very difficult for you guys to get close enough unless you were able to somehow prevent that mind thing from happening. So
or some aluminum foil hats.
Well,
aluminum foil's not going to work, but you guys did learn that synthetics are immune to his mind reading. So you may need to have the aid of, I don't know, several synthetic beings to help you.
Where could we find them? I don't know.
Where can we find a whole bunch of synthetic beings to help get you there? And you have 3 shots of PB&J. So if you're able to get to close enough so that you can get a clean shot of whatever form Lun is right now with a PB&J, that should give you enough time to get close enough to the core of this thing. assuming you're able to get to the core of this thing, you will have to. The Angara can help set up and open a gate that goes from that part of the galaxy to the other part of the galaxy. If you look at the right-hand side, this is the Angaran Arc. This is the Angaran Arc. The ship over here is the Revolution. So, you will have a limited amount of time to weaken this dark energy mass such that the gate can essentially suck it through the gate over to the other side in the sun. And presumably you can do that by weakening the mass from the upside down. So you'll have to land on the asteroid, get into the upside down somehow. From the upside down, you can actually affect it. You can like hurt it. Because right now it seems to be attached to this asteroid. If you can hurt it enough, it'll start getting sucked into that, from that portal over to the other portal. I also forgot that getting into the asteroid to begin with is tricky because you know that the red lyrium does funky things with technology. So somebody from the Revolution is going to have to put up some sort of biotic barrier to protect the ship so that the red lyrium whatnots is not going to basically blow up your ship.
Bring it on, bitch.
Meanwhile, assuming that you succeed in beginning the process of transferring the red lyrium mass over to the sun, to the other sun, it's not going to be that simple for the other side either, because there's a lot of asteroid activity and debris in surrounding that sun, so they will need help shooting down all those asteroids so that it doesn't damage the arc, because the arc is what is actually going to maintain the gate. Meanwhile, that sun is going to continuously grow larger and larger and larger while this is happening. So maneuvering around is going to be more and more difficult. So just as an FYI, that's something that will happen as the timer goes down. You'll have you have a window of 12 rounds to get this done. A window of 12.
Oh, fuck. That's even
memories.
scarier than the last time.
12 rounds to get this done from the moment the gate is open, because that's how long the gate will remain open. And you guys have to time it because they have to plant the star seed into the sun ahead of time.
And so to move the thing there, we have to force it into a portal.
You'll have to force it into a portal. Once you land on the asteroid and get close enough to the center of the big mass, the Angaran arc from the sun will open the portal.
Okay.
They'll open the portal from their end, which will open it by the asteroid. But like I said, just opening the portal won't be enough. You guys will have to start attacking the mass from there in order to allow it to get sucked in.
Okay.
Do we have a contingency plan if any step of those fail? Like, for example, we miss all the shots of PB and J.
Yeah.
I mean, we just blow up Star Hedgehog. Like, that's the backup plan here, I assume.
Or we blow up the Vorcha homeworld, which will definitely go well within the galaxy.
Oh yeah.
That is your contingency plan.
That
is
is
to blow
the
up
contingency.
Hedgehog.
Yeah,
Jesus
and chances are we are
Christ,
left
imagine
too, right?
how horrible that would be if we had to actually do that. Blow up the... Oh!
Yeah, no, that's why I'm saying we leave the PB&J to Stan. I think he can handle that.
I was thinking we give Stan to the Angaran Arc because he's the best shooter that we have who's not Jules. We could give them Stan and Jules. And they would have the best shooters possible to help take down all these asteroids.
True, but then
It's a
Who's gonna
melee
shoot
attack,
the
I'm assuming.
PB&J?
It's a melee attack, I'm assuming. Because I could just take the
Well,
needle out
no,
and stick it
we
into one's
have-
neck, right?
We have to get close. That's the thing.
It can be fired from a sniper rifle.
Oh.
In theory, you could go right up to it and jam it, but you'd have to get close enough to do that.
Yeah. We could have Jules do that, though, and give Stan to the Angarans, because we know Jules is trained in sniper rifles.
Jules could probably do it from a far enough distance. He can probably do it from a far enough distance, such that it's outside of Lund's, like, mind reading. In theory. Not that you guys scientifically know how far away.
Yeah, we haven't done any testing. We can't exactly, put it down to fact.
Yeah. But I think a lot of snipers can fire... I think snipers can fire things from at least a mile, or even more miles away. I don't remember what that is, but it's something ridiculous, like a mile. So which is pretty far. You still need to get him onto the asteroid. You still need to land the ship on the asteroid successfully. So he can aim and fire. And once he's there, then you guys gotta rush forward, and do your thing. So when assuming that the first shot works, I will have to start eventually making saving throws to see if it starts wearing off. And if it does, he's gonna have to fire it again. So hopefully he won't run out of PB&J of the 3 before that happens. So which is another reason why time is of the essence. So we can talk off camera. I don't think we need to do this now, but you will have to decide based on the scenario I just gave you, which characters are going to be doing what, who's responsible for what, and whose side. You definitely will need people on both sides. And yeah, are there any other questions about this final encounter scenario?
Mass Effect 2 suicide mission? Yes. Will you kill off our characters?
You upgrade the ship first, so nobody dies.
Exactly. Will you kill off all the NPCs if we place them in the bad position?
No.
Of course they could die. Yeah.
Awesome.
Everyone could die.
Great.
Yeah.
Let's
We can all die next session, but still win. Like we could die at the very last minute. The Red Duke gets stuck through the portal, and the thing blows up. But we're all dead, so we don't know what succeeded or not.
Mhm.
And then we go into
Okay.
the epilogue, and we're just like, we don't know what to say because all of our characters are dead.
I just play Solaric then.
So, okay, now that you've been briefed on the plan, the Angara have to make preparations on the Ark to make sure that they're ready to launch the Starseed and to make sure that they have the equipment to open this gate to suck in the red lyrium thing, and make preparations to jump. That's the other thing, is that once enough of the mass has made it through the portal, then the Ark has to jump out of the way because that entire system is going to blow up. That entire system is going. And you guys are free to make your own personal preparations, say your last minute farewells, and all that. I'm going to say the Angara will need 3 days approximately 3 days to make all of the preparations they need. So you have 3 days of downtime. I think Pip, because Pip is still with you. If you guys are going, well, you don't have a choice, because if you want to go back to the Endurance, you're going to have to go back through the gate that you came from. And
Yeah, there's the thing with the Shadow Broker too.
which will take you back to the Shadow Broker. Pip will say that if we have downtime anyway, I was thinking we should have some sort of last morale boosting hurrah of some sort. I know of a great place over in Terves.
That
Yeah.
I don't
That-
mind that.
Yeah, that would sound nice. Plus, I've never been on Terves myself.
Oh, it's absolutely beautiful and gorgeous. I'd love to show you all around, and maybe even show you where I grew up.
Oh. How can we pass up the opportunity to do what we did to Koval and to Pip?
No.
Yeah, quite honestly, I don't think you can, like, no matter what you do, can make Pip feel awkward.
Oh, Pip, honey, if you want, we can get you set up for a night outside.
I would love that.
Snag up some menses, or maybe prepare you for some menses in the ship. Wink, wink.
Menses?
Yeah, some menses. Get out like the juicy bits and just have a good night. What do you say?
You mean playing with toys? And she's holding up like one of her mechanical like wind-up toys.
Oh.
You could say that.
Dia's like, not that kind of toy.
Not
Oh,
that
no.
kind of toy, but no, actually, no, that's wrong. It is a toy of the more organic material.
She doesn't seem to be following you, but she's ready to be surprised.
Gimmick says.
She's talking about
yeah,
whittled. She's talking about whittled toy. Wood. It's organic.
Exactly. You guys have naughty brains. You think immediately I'm assuming something else when I'm just talking about like an actual toy made out of wood. You guys are just weird.
We have a lot of wood in Terves.
Exactly. You guys do?
Oh yes, ironwood even. That's what most of my toys are made from. She says.
See, they have ironwood.
Yeah, are you sure that you are not implying something else with that?
Oh, she is. 100%.
Well, you know, I always wanted to learn whittling. I tried to follow Solaric's attempts to teach me, but he's the artistic one, not me.
I wanted to ask the Angaran leader, the Pathfinder that we met. What was his name
Zorai.
again? Zorai.
Yes, Zorai.
I wanted to ask him a question before I left.
Sure, you can ask him that right now.
Nathan will pull out one of those like capsules that Sarah gave us because we had the ability to open up these wormholes ourselves, thanks to her.
Yeah, they're smaller, but yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Do you guys have like grenades that use these that produce light energy? That might be useful.
We do.
Prepare some, would you?
I will add that to the list of preparations.
Nathan out there asking the good questions.
Our guns won't be any help because they produce dark energy because they are Mass Effect field driven. It's a process. I won't go into it, but we'll probably be ending up not using them since that they will only probably make the dark energy fields being stronger. So we're going to have to use some unconventional stuff. So
Can we see a sample of your weapons?
Nathan just pulls out his shotgun. Here.
He takes it. He examines it. We should be able to give you something to attach to this device in order to generate light energy.
Do you need me to leave something with you, or are you fine with whatever examination you just performed?
Any weapons that you wish to be enhanced should be left here so that our engineers can modify them.
All right, Nathan will pull up his radio comm. Guys, if you guys want your weapons to produce light energy, you might want to leave them here on the Angaran Arc.
Yeah, Vito would leave pretty much, I think, his pistol and his
Nathan
Yeah,
will leave
assault
his
rifle.
shotgun.
So since you're getting your weapons enhanced, this will be very interesting because if you are in the upside down via the blue lyrium, you will be able to affect the red lyrium mass regardless. But if you are not in the upside down, then yes, having this light energy weapons is the only way you can affect it, which means you will need some way to see the dark energy mass. But you already figured that out because Jules will have the glasses for you. So you will be able to see it, fortunately.
But we have to be in the upside down, right? Or
You don't have to be in the upside down.
oh, okay.
You don't have to. The upside down is only mostly for people who don't have light energy weapons, mostly.
Slash biotics.
Biotics. So, for example, someone who is more melee based may have to go into the upside down in order to affect the dark energy.
Like Zedreri.
If you want Zedreri to help, yes, she would have to go into the upside down.
While Nathan is talking with the Pathfinder, Gimme will also approach, and I don't know if it was established this before, but I wanted to ask, is there any way of bringing people back from the other side?
He will sigh and shake his head. Not that we have discovered.
Do you think there is any possibility of that happening, even if you actually at the moment don't know any course of action to do it?
I suppose there's always hope. But with the technology that we have and knowledge we have right now, it's all just theoretical.
Well,
Well-
at least there's something there, right? And I'm saying that towards Gimmick. There's some hope.
Yes?
There is some hope, at the very least.
You think we could try some of the theories we could have right now?
None of the theories that we have is substantial enough to try anything, unfortunately.
Well,
If
we-
you know of any theories in particular.
yeah. Well, I was thinking this is kind of strange because the bodies that are physical transform into energy, I think, when they turn to the other side. But, well, something like what happened last time with Nathan, that Tia went to the other side, but still kept her body here. And she was able to affect that other side with her biotic powers. So maybe there is a way, like going to the other side and trying to drag them out of it. Like, well, I still need to figure out the details, but maybe try to pull them out of it. Like, I don't know, chunking them out.
I don't know if that would actually work, because when you say other side, they're
Yeah.
not really in a different place. They still occupy the same space, but they're dark matter. They're there physically. We just can't perceive them with our senses because they're dark matter. So pulling them from one place to another doesn't really do anything, because it's not like they're in a different dimension. You can't think of it like it's in a different or even a parallel dimension. They're physically there.
Yeah.
They're just a different state. It's like air is physically there. You can't see it. You can feel it. You can you can move air from here to another like a balloon. It's still there, but that doesn't just because you move it from here to here doesn't mean that you suddenly can see air. It's still invisible to you. You still
it's
can't
like
perceive it.
water going into vapor.
Yeah.
It's
So
still there in another state.
So what you want is to have the ability to change its state. You want to be able to change whatever molecules, or however you want to call it, whatever. You have to be able to convert the dark matter back into physical matter again somehow. And
Oh.
that's not very straightforward or obvious how to do that. What's happening with the blue lyrium, what the blue lyrium essentially is doing is it is magically giving you the ability to perceive. Suddenly you can actually see, hear, smell, taste dark matter. That's why it looks like you're being transported to another world, because this other world that's always been there, just invisible to you, suddenly appears before you. And the magic of the lyrium also lets you interact with this other world that, again, has always been there, and you've just never been able to interact it until you use the blue lyrium. Does all that make sense?
Yes. Well, that is. So from what we talked, I gather that we need to find a way of changing them, their matter, what they're made of, back into a physical body.
Correct.
So their dark bodies is just like energy, or is it composed of any matter?
It's dark matter. So there's dark energy and there's dark matter.
Okay.
When we're talking about dark energy, we're talking about the red lyrium mass and like what gets released by Mass Effect relays and all that good stuff. So that's dark energy. Dark matter is what their physical bodies turned into because they were affected by dark energy. So dark energy is the disease, and then your body turning into dark matter is the symptom.
Okay. I don't want to drag this out. I guess we have three days, and I hope to find any ideas. Maybe Meg's brother? I should ask Dia what's his specialty. Or, maybe Nathan's sister. Yeah, we could ask around and gather some ideas.
Don't
Okay,
call her
thank you.
back quite yet. She doesn't know yet, so
Know what?
she doesn't know that she's my sister. So don't be calling her that quite yet. I'll have to talk to her still.
And do you want her to know?
I mean, she deserves to know. So I'm going to call her when we get a minute, but I have one more thing I need to do.
Oh, okay.
So, Pathfinder. I'm not sorry for what I said, but I am sorry for how I said it.
Your anger is understandable. I also am very sorry for how it's affected you and your people. This is not how we wanted it to go. But we're not done with our mission, and we can't continuously look back. In order for us to see this through, we have to continue looking forward, at least for now. We can't keep second-guessing our actions, because once we do, it could mean the end for all of us.
Well, maybe I'll see you on the other side. And he will offer him a handshake.
He will eye the handshake briefly, and then he will also return the handshake. You're taking a great risk by volunteering to jump into the eyes and pits of hell itself. I wish you and your crew good luck in your preparations for this.
This isn't the first time we've seen hell. This galaxy's been through a lot. And honestly, if my mom was alive, she'd do this as well. And he taps his chest. Right, I gotta go. See you in 3 days.
In 3 days. And with that, they will... there will be a couple of Angara who will have a ship that will be more than happy to escort you back to the gate to return you back to the Shadow Broker's ship. We'll fast forward. You all will travel back through the gate. You will end up back into the Terves system, where not only is the Shadow Broker ship there, but the Revolution is there as well. And so the first place you're going to go to is you're going to go back to the Revolution.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Dia says, guys, we need to have a meeting.
Sure.
Yeah. Can I ask you something?
Sure.
Okay, 2 things. First one, what was the specialty of your brother?
I mean, he was an engineer, I think. I don't really. He was like a sciencey. I don't know math. Okay, please
Bio
don't
engineer?
ask me. I don't know math.
Okay.
I could.
That'd be
Sorry.
maybe a biological engineer, a bioengineer. That's from what I can see.
I think that's what he said. That explains why he made Stan. I think. I don't know. I always just let Alan do his own thing. But yeah, what about it?
So, well, I was trying to figure out a way of bringing the people back from that other side, because as things are right now, when we blow that red thing up, well, they will be gone forever. So, well, I guess they will be gone forever. We don't know. We have hope. But do you have any idea of how to bring them back?
To clarify, it's not, you're not destroying all dark matter in all the galaxy,
Oh, okay.
because that's an imbalance. So what they're doing is they're destroying the source of the flux in dark matter, which is the red lyrium infused dark energy. So this isn't the crucible. Like when you do this, there's not going to be this big giant wave that shoots across the entire Milky Way galaxy that magically destroys all of that. You have to do some cleanup afterwards.
Okay.
So because once you destroy the source, there's still going to be like areas of the galaxy that needs to be cleaned up with light energy, which the Angaras can do with their arc. They'll have to fly around, assuming a big war doesn't happen. Assuming a big war doesn't happen, they have to fly around the solar system for who knows how long, cleaning up the damage that this mass has done to the galaxy until a balance has been achieved. And once the balance is achieved, they're free to leave and have done their mission. So this part is the hard part. It's not implying that anyone who is converted into dark matter, like Amia, it's not implying they're all gonna die.
Okay. I thought that it was like a place that only existed because this thing was in a universe.
There is time after the fact to come up with a solution for this if you want to come up with a solution for this.
Yeah.
You don't have to do it in 3 days.
We can start seeding that thing for that to happen later on. And well, there is another thing I wanted to ask. Oh, out of character. Would Gimmick know that that Dia took some files out of the Shadow Broker or something, or look for something before leaving?
Um,
I rolled a pretty good stealth.
Should I? Did you roll stealth or electronics?
Yeah.
I think the stealth was really high too.
Oh.
So Gimmick, do you have any reason to have suspicion that Dia did that?
Well, I also brought some files out of the Shadow Broker system. I don't know if being connected to the system.
Roll up perception.
Okay.
I wouldn't have this be based on
Yeah.
electronics because you have to notice that it happened. So roll pretty high and you can notice. I'm gonna say no.
Oh well. So, I wanted to ask, could you help me to dress up like Pip for the party?
Of course, I would love to help you dress up, Pip. Just we need to have the ship meeting first because we just need to
Okay.
address something.
Thank you.
No problem. I mean, I want to dress the girl up too. She gotta look sexy for the menses.
I don't know what menses are yet. You mean like men
Yes, men.
with an S? Oh, okay.
I just say like that to sound sassy when I'm really not being sassy. That's
Oh.
why.
Okay.
I'm trying to sound funny when I'm not really being funny. That's why.
Oh, maybe if you were with your friends, it would be really funny. Oh, did you say something to them recently? Like hi?
No, I haven't. I will get to that a little bit later.
Okay.
It's just guys, we really need to have this group meeting. Everyone's in the kitchen already?
Is it when you say everyone, you mean like even the NPCs, correct?
Even NPCs, yeah. It's only fair. She's
Yeah.
Dia's gonna be like, group meeting, guys, group meeting. And she's gonna like set everything, all the chairs up in like a little table, not around the actual table, just like a little circular chair sort of
Mhm.
style. And it's gonna be like, okay. So I have with me from the Shadow Broker base all the information pertaining to the dimension hoppers. I have all the stuff that we have went through with the currently dealing with the dark energy, and I wanted to ask. I want to let you guys know. I think, considering how this universe's entire balance has been in constant flux recently because of irresponsibility from people like that, I feel like we should leak this information.
Leak it.
Um,
Yeah, leak it. Leak it in a way that we can spin it. And also because like this shit's not okay. Not anymore.
And then you'll have Aya hunting us down for the rest of our natural lives.
Or
I-
you'd have extremely stupid people that would try to attempt the same thing.
Yep.
You can't just show people that world hopping is possible. I know my people. Solarians are going to try to replicate it.
It'd be an arms race. Not in the way that this would be a weapon, it might be, but in the way that, people, governments would want to be able to produce this for themselves. You'd have the Alliance wanting to form their own thing, the Batarians wanting to form their own thing, the Krogan, the Solarians, what's left of the Turians probably, and the Asari all wanting to do this. This would not be a good idea because people would want to do it. Leaking this information would probably cause more hassle than just leaving it be secret and keeping an eye on it ourselves.
The thing is, I doubt we can keep this secret for much longer, especially if it does come to that we have to blow up the Vorcha homeworld.